We are Si and Sophie. This is Coastal News, a home and away podcast, your weekly episode companion podcast for your favourite Aussie soap.
Hello. Hi, everybody. Hello,
everybody.
Hello. Welcome to this very special episode, bonus podcast episode of Coastal News Podcast. One of many. There's lots of things happening in this birthday week. The podcast has second anniversary. We're more than halfway through our third season, so we are in celebration mode, in full swing. How are you doing, Sophie? You in the party mood?
Hello. Yes, I am. Thank you. I'm very well, and excited. Really, it's great that we're still doing this and still enjoying this. So yay us.
Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary.
How are you? How are you doing?
I'm really well. Thank you. And I'm just really happy to be here recording this with you, because we're celebrating, what we've achieved. It's a good chance for us to
look back,
to take stock.
Yeah.
So, for any new listeners that joined us throughout the last 12 months, throughout our second season and third season, thank you. Absolutely, thank you. But for anyone who is new to us, last year on the first anniversary of the podcast, we did something called In Conversation With, and it's a chance for us as the hosts to grill each other. I'm scaring Sophie now about what's going to come.
Grill? I've got no idea what's coming up, and my hands are sweaty and it's hot outside already. So
the whole point of In Conversation is just to break the fourth wall on the podcast and sort of talk about ourselves, about how we're feeling a bit more about the podcast, and about how we think things are going, and just have a little fun with it as well. And it's just a little sort of insight for our listeners into how things are going. So, are you ready for your second In Conversation with Sophie?
Oh, I guess. Let's see what happens. I don't know what you're going to throw at me. I'm very nervous.
Nothing too strenuous, don't worry. It's all about home and away and Coastal News Podcast, things you know a lot about. Okay.
Hopefully.
So since we last sat down to you last year, a lot's gone on. So we're going to we're going to talk about home and away. Okay. And I'm going to ask you your thoughts about, cast your mind back 12 months ago. We sat here on the first anniversary doing an In Conversation With, and we were talking about the show and what we wanted out of the next year. And so think about what's happened since then. Have you got any highs you can think of? Something on home and away this last 12 months that you think that really gripped me? I really loved that, and I'm really grateful the show did that. Anything stick out to you?
Oh. Yes, quite a lot actually. There's been quite a lot of, if we think about the last 12 months, really quite a lot has happened. Can I be controversial and mention some things that are a bit Marmite, but I've actually really enjoyed?
The more controversial, the better. This is your In Conversation. We need the truth out of you right now. Yeah,
the truth,
we need
the whole truth.
Nothing
but the truth. Okay, so I controversially have really enjoyed the introduction of Lyric. I'll be honest. I know that a lot of people have probably turned off already because they're like, as if whatever. I hate this band. There's a lot of stuff on social media. Not everybody saying this, but I think because the world that we live in now, being able to see people's reactions to stuff online, a lot of the time you see the negative stuff more vocally than you see anything positive, because people are more quick to air their negative opinions of things than they are when they're enjoying something, aren't they? So there is a lot of stuff online about Lyric and people not enjoying Lyric, but I genuinely have enjoyed the introduction of Lyric. More so from the point of view, I've really enjoyed the introduction of Remy and Eden, and they are fast becoming some of my most favourite people on the show. Considering they've only been here a year, that's quite a lot to say, really, isn't it? But I really enjoy their dynamic dynamic between the two of them. I really enjoy that relationship. I really think the writers, and we've said this a few times on the podcast, on the main episodes lately, the writers are really doing well with these friendship groups, the sort of 30s something friendship groups. So the Remy and Eden friendship, the Marley, etc. friendships that he's got with Xander and Rose, and etc. But I'm really enjoying the Remy Eden thing. So, yeah.
And would that be your standout for the last 12 months? Would that be your introduction of Lyric is your highest standout? And it's okay if it is, this is your space.
There's quite a lot of things that have stood out to me this year. So I don't know whether I'd rank that as the highest, but there's quite a few things that I would say I've really enjoyed the Bikey storyline. Again, controversially, I know a lot of people really didn't like that, and they don't like the whole, there's too much criminal stuff on the bay and whatever, didn't like the River Boys, etc. I love the River Boys stuff. I love the Bikey drama stuff. Oh my God, Bad Cash. I was here for it. Finally, Cash wasn't a boring, straight copper to me. He had a bit of an edge to him. He was going into prison and winding up. I've forgotten his bloody name. She's gone out of my head. What's his name? The Bikey guy. Tex. There we go. He's winding up. It's not even his real name, is it? But winding him up, in prison while Tex is sat there just giving it back. I loved all of that. I was here for that. Really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed the development of John as a character over the last year. We've said this a lot of the time. John can weave relationships with anybody. He's in with the Stewarts, he's in with Marilyn and Irene, the Dying Ladies, but he's also got relationships with Marley. He had relationships with Ziggy and Dean. He's the person that the young people come to. Theo came to him when he had those issues with his dad. Nico came to him when he was having problems with Bella, or when he was struggling with grief when Ari died. I'm really enjoying seeing John as a character developing more as well. So for me, that's another highlight. Like the introduction of Gary. Gary came out of nowhere.
His highlights are coming and coming and coming.
There's so many good things. You have to remember this is 12 months. There's been stuff that I've not been happy with this year, but the things that I have been happy with, there's been loads. I was really happy with the Gary stuff. Really enjoyed the fallout of the first Flick and Tane wedding. The crash.
Yeah.
This comes under the Bikey umbrella anyway, but that crash, the car crash on the day of the first wedding, the supposed to be wedding that never actually happened. Brilliant. That was only one episode, but that stands out to me. Stands out more than the 8,000th episode where they actually got married. Actually, I think I enjoyed the tragic wedding day more than I enjoyed the
drama
wedding.
of the car.
Absolutely, yeah.
Fair enough.
There's loads
a girl
of stuff.
who likes drama knows what she wants.
I like drama. The return of Karen as well. The return of the Karen. Plus, with the whole, I didn't enjoy genuinely didn't enjoy it, or generally and genuinely didn't enjoy the Diggy baby storyline. I felt a bit disjointed with that storyline. Wasn't fully engaged with it. But
I was about to say his. Like so there's loads of stuff you've loved this year controversially, but what if there was one thing that you had to pick that perhaps didn't sit well with you, that you thought, well, I probably would have done that differently? Would it be the Diggy baby, or would it be something else?
It'd be Gabe. Gabe.
Oh really? Yeah.
Gabe. I hated Gabe, and I hated the Gabe storyline, and we didn't need Gabe. I'm sorry, viewers, listeners. You have probably heard me banging on about the we didn't need Gabe thing for I don't know how long has Gabe been kicking around? 6 months. Didn't need him, and I'm really annoyed about the whole Gabe thing. Yeah, I think
it seemed a waste, didn't it?
I can say about it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so that's
Gabe.
the definitive.
Goodbye.
That was the low moment. Gabe, you brought the year down. See you later,
Gabe.
pal. Yeah.
He's dead now, so that's over. Thank God. or is he?
Oh, don't.
Nobody.
Don't. I've got to try and sleep tonight.
We've seen nobody, so it's a soap with nobody, and a soap. You could come back anytime.
Out the fridge. Yeah. So, right, we've heard your high points. We've heard your low points. How's Home and Away been on the whole for you this year? Since we last sat down and spoke about this sort of stuff, generally, has it been a good year for you?
I think it has.
Have you enjoyed watching the show? Has it been a bit of a chore?
Yeah, I don't think it's been a chore. I think there's been some episodes which I've rolled my eyes over, some storylines which I've rolled my eyes over, but genuinely, I think I've enjoyed it. Yeah,
just a good solid year for you with many highlights. Yeah, I think we can summarize that up as
I can definitely say there's been more highs than there's been lows for me. More things that I've enjoyed than I've actually rolled my eyes at, which I think is good. And like we always say, not every storyline is going to relate to us. We're not going to love everything the show does, because that's just impossible. And we try to be very genuine on the podcast when we're not enjoying something. We don't just, love it because it's the show that we watch every day. We have to be a bit critical with it. And we probably are more critical than some people, because if I wasn't doing a podcast, I'd just watch it and I wouldn't really dissect it as much as I do to talk about it on the podcast. So I genuinely have enjoyed the last sort of 12 months of the show.
Great to hear. And of course, we're sort of halfway, we're a little over halfway now of the 35th year of Home and Away, and they promised us a big year. Do you think that's living up to what was promised? Do you think that's going well so far, the 35th year? Do you think it's everything you imagined when you think about what we've had this year?
Yeah, I don't know whether it's what I expected, because I think when we talked about this last year, what we kind of hoped was that there was going to be some massive story. Like, I think we talked about like a whodunit, where someone key in the cast dies, and we don't, like the Charlotte murder from years ago. Yeah, someone gets killed. It throws the whole show into like chaos. We don't know how it's happened. We don't know who's done it. That hasn't really happened, has it? There hasn't really been that kind of a draw.
There's still time,
I don't feel like it's been destabilized at any point. It's still, it still felt a fairly stable show. There's lots of people come in and gone, lots of new people been brought in and killed off or whatever. There's not been anything core that shook me, like a key character, a veteran character that something awful's happened to, or something diabolical has happened to them, and then we've had to piece it all together. I don't feel shooketh in that way, if that makes sense, which is what I was expecting really when they said that 35th year is going to be explosive and dramatic. I was kind of hoping for something really shocking.
But they've got to pull out the stops for you, haven't they? The second half of the year, if we're going to win you back. Okay.
I need to be shocked and appalled.
Someone's shocker. Right, then the other side of this I want to talk about with you. Thanks for sharing. It's interesting to hear you reflect on the last 12 months. So thank you. And I'm sure our listeners will appreciate it, because everyone's got their opinions, haven't they?
Absolutely.
And some of yours go against the grain, which is really interesting. Sorry. No, don't apologise. Right, let's talk about Coastal News now. Okay. Yeah. Now, again, I'll do a quick summary of your Coastal News story, if you don't mind, for any new listeners, because we've had a lot of growth the last 12 months. So some people may not remember you joining, some people will. So we're currently sort of 60% of the way through season 3 of this podcast. Okay. As you know, this is second anniversary. That's what this is all about. And you joined the show as a guest hostie. The show needed 1 week.
1 week.
The show, it needed somebody else, didn't it? And that was part of it. And you volunteered yourself up, and we hit it off. It just worked. And we have never stopped talking since, basically. And 1 week to...
I'm sorry.
1 week turned to 2, turned to 3, turned to a year, turned to, what is it now? Like 18 months?
18 months, yeah.
Yeah. So we're rattling through your second season on the show. How are you finding podcast? how are you finding that story? You know, how's it going for you?
Love it. I still find it really strange that I'm on a podcast. You know, I just still find it really odd that, first of all, that anybody listens at all. Thank you so much if you do. Like, we genuinely appreciate all of you for listening. Whenever we get a tweet saying, I listened to the episode and I agree or I disagree or whatever it is that you say, you know, the fact that you listen at all is just, it blows my mind. You know, when we look at some of the figures on the podcast, places that tune into us, you know, we had Vietnam, we charted in Vietnam last week. Sorry, I mean, like, that's just to me, that's just blown my tiny little mind of like, why would anybody listen to us firstly, but then why would anybody in Vietnam listen to us? It's just, honestly, it's so humbling and so mind-blowing, and I genuinely enjoy every minute of it. And even if people didn't listen at all, I think I would still enjoy it. And I love the fact that I've met you, and I feel like, I think you said recently, like, it feels like we've been robbed of all these years where we didn't know each other, because we just get on so well, don't we?
Yeah.
And we just have a laugh. And I don't think either of us would do this if we didn't enjoy it, because it's not easy. You know, we both work full time, we both have jobs, we're doing this as a kind of side hobby thing. And although it probably looks like we turn up and just talk, we do actually do a lot of prep, and we do actually spend a lot of time outside of the podcast doing a lot of work towards the podcast, don't we? Whether it's marketing stuff, or whether it's prepping for the podcast, so that we've got all of our, you know, our segments coordinated and that kind of thing. So there is a lot of work involved. It does feel like a second job, but it doesn't feel like a job because we enjoy it, I think.
Yeah, we put some hours in, don't we?
We do.
And you know, other sort of podcast hosts out there will appreciate the hard yakka, as we like to say. So yeah, you've put a lot of hours in, you put a lot of hard work in, hard graft. So I'm pleased you're enjoying it.
Absolutely.
Since we spoke in your In Conversation with last year, you've been awarded favorite host.
Thank you.
You are favorite host 2022 of Coastal News. Think about that. We've hit record download numbers. Our season finale of 2022, our podcast season 2 finale last year is our most listened to episode ever to this day. Loads of our season 3 episodes are in our most ever listened to downloads. The numbers are going up and up and up, with thousands and thousands of downloads that have just sort of,
that's mad,
mothballed this year. What would be your pod highlight if you had to choose one out of this last 12 months since we last sat down? What would be your biggest highlight?
I don't know whether I could pick just one. Can I pick two?
Go on then.
Can I have two?
Go on.
You're talking about going against the grain. It's my forte, really. Okay, number one, meeting you in person, because let's be honest, because we're talking about breaking the fourth wall of the podcast. You and I, we've been doing this for 18 months over Skype. We have not met in person until recently. And we did meet up in London, didn't we? We went and met Diggy. Because Sophie Dillman and Patrick O'Connor we did a whole episode on this, if anybody wants to listen to it. Well, whole sort of segment of an episode on this, if anybody wants to listen to it. We went and met them in London, but actually the highlight of my day was not meeting Diggy at all. It was meeting you.
Oh, blimey.
And just getting to hang out with you. So that was a key moment in the last 12 months, definitely. And I think I said this last year, didn't I? We did a In Conversation last year on the second anniversary, and I think I said on the first anniversary, sorry, and I think I said something then like, I want to meet up in person. And we've done that now. So we've done that. So yeah, that is definitely a highlight of the last year. I think my second highlight, if I can squeeze another one in, is probably your Say on the Bay. You know, we've made that into a segment this year, and I think I've really enjoyed including that segment on the pod. I've really enjoyed looking at what other people think, interacting with people on Twitter, you know, all those regulars that we talk about all the time that joining the conversation and talking to other people that enjoy the show and having those different opinions as well. Whereas I was saying before, I might have liked the bikey drama, I might have liked the lyric stuff, other people might not, and I enjoy hearing other people's opinions on what they think of the storylines that are going on. And because before the podcast, it was just me at home sitting on my sofa talking to my dog, you know, and he didn't care what I thought about the show at all, and he had no opinion to offer. He normally asleep and just snoring at me. So being able to interact with other people that love the show as much as we do, and interact with our podcast as well. I mean, that's
and
just been so
you've
good.
taken the reins, haven't you, with that? That's been your little baby. You know, especially this season, in season 3, and for it to be up there as like your favorite moment says a lot, really, about how much you enjoy doing it and your reasons for being here, you know. And I think one thing you cannot fault us for is interacting with the listeners, and just that engagement. I think we've never taken anybody for granted, have we?
Hopefully not.
And and I think you've been a massive driving force of that online, because you've shown up day after day after day on time, and you've chatted with everybody about everything, and it at all hours, really, you know, and all that, though, that engagement has just created this amazing little community that sometimes you've got to pinch yourself, haven't you, that we've managed to.
Absolutely.
Sounds gushy, but we've managed to sort of create a little group. And that's your doing, really. So I can understand why that's something that sticks out as your best moment.
And it's just really nice to have that little safe space. And like I say, before I met you, and before I started to sort of get involved with the hashtag and the conversations that were going on Twitter, I didn't have anyone to talk to. I didn't know anybody that watched the show. And I imagine there's a lot of people out there, you know, sit down at 6 o'clock or 6:30, and they don't have anybody else that they know in real life that watches the show. And it's nice to go online and talk to people that have opinions and want to chat to you, and, you know, agree or disagree. I don't mind. I quite like people that disagree, because it a lot of the time it opens my mind to something I hadn't thought of. As to why they, you know, they don't like a particular storyline, and go, oh yeah, actually, okay, from their point of view, I can see why this would upset them or shock them or whatever it is. So I think a lot of people can relate to that, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Now, do you remember last year we did a little, what's your your 5 wishes for the year ahead? Do you remember?
Yes.
So
vaguely.
5 things you want 5 things you want in the year ahead, Sophie. We sit here in season 4 on You're in Conversation with what things do you want to have happened between now and then? And it can be podcast, it can be home and away storyline related, you name it.
Oh, okay. I can't remember what I asked for last year, so maybe I've already got some of my wishes. I don't know. Okay, straight out of the gate. This might upset people. I want to kill Rue off.
Right.
not because I was gonna say not because I hate Rue. I don't hate Rue, but she does infuriate me. I don't like the way she treats
you
Marilyn.
said that last year, you know.
Did I?
I feel like we were saying John, and then you said, "Oh no, Rue."
Oh, don't kill John. I love John. Yeah, I think it would cause a ripple in the bay. And do you know what? Actually, it would break my heart in a way, because you know, Mr. Stewart is my TV granddad, and I heart him, and I can't bear the idea of him not being on the show. And killing Rue off would absolutely break Mr. Stewart, but I still want Rue killed off. I just think it would cause such a massive ripple, such a shock. I wouldn't miss her character personally, but I can imagine the storylines that we would get out of it, you know, with Irene, with Rue, with Leah, with Mr. Stewart. It would just be, it would cause so much drama that it's worth killing her off, I think. in
Right.
some kind of whodunit murder. Yeah,
Fair
not
dues.
reaction to face mask, not that, but some kind of
Something, some
drowned or
spectacular end. Yeah.
blown up or stabbed or I don't know, something
Okay.
dramatic.
Fair enough.
Is that really awful?
No, Rue. We want Rue out. Next.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Georgie Parker. I'm sorry. Next. So how many of these am I allowed? 5.
5. This is your 5. My 5.
Crikey. Okay. This is a bit of a soppy one. We've been hearing about Jet's wedding recently. And Marilyn's going through the storyline, wanting to make money for Jet's wedding, selling organics, etc., etc. I would like to see a reunion at Jet's wedding of John and Marilyn. They get caught up in the romance of the wedding.
Oh, yeah.
And they decide that they're going to give it another go. Is that really sappy? It probably is.
No,
but that is what I want.
That would be on my list as well. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
John and Marilyn.
They need to find each other again.
They do. I want Marilyn, because really what I want out of that is I want Marilyn out of the Stewart house. I want her either on her own 2 feet, or move in with John, or move in with Irene. I want her away from Rue. I want her away from that toxic friendship that they seem to have. But really, I want Marilyn and John back together, because I ship them.
Yeah. Let's do it. Make it happen.
Make it happen, writers.
Storyline gods. Okay, so that's 2.
There are people on the hashtag that want that as well. That's 2. I would like to see either a new set or more of the sets that we have, because we don't see Irene's beach house very often. We don't see the caravan park at all anymore. We saw Summer Bay House recently, but we never see the caravan park anymore.
Okay.
We saw it briefly when Flick moved into a caravan in a rage, when she threw the ring in Tane's face and that kind of thing. But we don't see the caravan park as a business. The key, the wall of keys, the towels, the running of the day-to-day stuff. We don't see that anymore. So either bring back some of the sets that we know, or give us a brand new one. Give us a new business that we've not heard of. Give us a shop or something in the bay that something for my eyeballs to look at. I'm looking forward to the the surf club new look thing, because that will give my eyeballs something new to look at. But I want to see something else.
Well, by the magic of podcasting as well, we've probably seen that by the time this episode comes out. So.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, sorry, this is June, isn't it? We're in June right now. Yeah.
But you're right. That would be a freshen up about the place, something new to look at. I can get on board with. Okay, so we're 3. So what's your 4th?
Okay. Mac. I think Mac is one of my favourite characters on the show at the moment. And as I've already said, the Gabe storyline didn't light me up, didn't love it. I'm sick of seeing Mac sad. I think Emily's really good at those scenes. I think this is why we get those scenes with Emily. I think she's excellent, and she's a great actress and everything else. I just think, I think she's proven that on the show. She's proven that she can handle those sad, traumatic, the Ari stuff, the Gabe stuff. We've seen it. But I don't want to see her sad anymore. I would like a happy story for Mac. And I don't necessarily mean romantic. I don't necessarily mean her shacking up with another man, but something good for Mac, whether it be business, something for her, something personal for her, to make a storyline for her where she's got a happy ending, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know what it would be. I'm leaving it open for interpretation, but
perfect.
Something good.
Yeah. Something uplifting. Yeah.
Something nice. Yeah, something nice.
Your 5th and final wish for the year ahead.
Can I just be really, really base with this one? Can I just say I don't want Tane to leave? Because I love him.
It's been a bit of a panic, that one, hasn't it? We've been doing a bit of online research.
Oh my god, we've been having a few chats on WhatsApp, haven't we? Like, he's growing a beard, because I do look at his. Sorry, Ethan. I don't know whether you listen. Hopefully you don't. I really hope you don't. But we've been looking at your stories stories, and sometimes you put a story on where you've grown a bit of a beard, and we've had a bit of a panic between us and gone, he's grown a beard, he must have left, because we know there's some sort of clauses in their contracts where, when people leave Home and Away and they dye their hair a different colour, they like Diggy left recently and Patrick O'Connor dyed his hair blonde, and Sophie Dillman dyed her hair like a sort of coppery colour. We know that they've got something in the contract where they can't, dramatically change their appearance overnight. So when Tane grew this beard and it was on his Instagram stories, Facebook or whatever, we were like, oh my God, he's left the show because he's got a beard, and panic. And then a week later we saw him filming a scene with Flick or something on the beach, and we were like, okay, he's still there. So that is my panic. Keep Tane. And actually this links back to, my previous one about Mac having a happy ending, having not necessarily a love story, but if we had to keep Tane in the bay by hooking him up with Mac, I'd actually be okay with that.
Same. I'm with you, honey.
If he had to have some kind of affair, or if he left Flick for Mac, I mean, that would cause mega drama. But that is always going to be the couple that never happened, that we missed out on, and I still kind of want to see it.
The what if,
kind of want to.
The shoulda, woulda, coulda. Yeah. Thank you. Well, we'll find out next year whether your 5 came true. Thank you so much, Sophie. You've survived. You're in conversation with.
Sweating.
Well done.
Yeah. Thank you.
On behalf, for myself, from all our listeners, thank you so much for all the effort you put in, and happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Now, before we go, bit of fun, bit of light fun, very quick. We're going to play a quick game of Home and Away, Dead or Alive.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a list of character names. This is quick fire, right? You're going to have a long time to think about this, right?
Whoa.
Quick fire.
Okay.
If you don't recognise the name, you can say skip. We'll come back at the end. All rules and regs. It's all rules and regs on this game. Right, you ready?
God. I've had too much wine, but yes.
After 3, 1, 2, 3. Kane Phillips, dead or alive? I'm not going to do that every time. Dead or alive?
Hey, he's alive, isn't he? You mean Sam
Correct.
Atwell? Yeah, Sam Atwell.
Correct.
Yeah.
He's alive somehow anyway, according to this quiz I'm doing online at BuzzFeed.com. Amanda Vale, dead or alive?
Amanda, I think she's dead. Isn't
Incorrect.
She?
Amanda moved to the city with Peter Baker and her son Ryan.
Oh, she did. And I was annoyed about this. Yes, I wanted her to die. It's
been a minute, to be fair. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
Dexter Walker, dead or alive?
Dexter, he's alive, isn't he? I don't remember him dying.
Yeah, alive. Yes, Ooh. He was in that car crash, but he survived and moved to Paris. And it goes, it says it, remember? Me neither. Oh dear. Johnny Cooper.
This is stressful.
Johnny Cooper, dead or alive?
Oh,
I wouldn't know this bloke by name. I only know him by face.
I know who he is because he's Drazik from Heartbreak High, and I have.
Oh yes.
I have a bit of a crush on him. But dead or alive? I think I remember him supposing to be dead and then come back. So is he actually dead?
Gonna have to push for an answer. Come on, quick fire.
I think he might be dead.
Okay, he's dead. Johnny was hit over the head with a cricket bat. Later went into cardiac arrest and then was killed by a morphine overdose administered by Sam. What a journey.
Wow. Yeah, I did have I loved him. What's his real name? Something Morphy.
Don't know. It doesn't say. We'll find out. Tony Holden, dead or alive?
Tony. He was married to Rachel, and I think he's still alive.
alive. Yes, correct. Tony,
Oh.
Rachel, and their son
Oh.
Harry moved to New York, of all places. Where presumably they're living happily ever after. Charlie Buckton, dead or alive?
Oh, I'm not over this. So I know she's dead, but I'm not over this.
She's dead. Hello, I'm still crying.
I'm so not over this. I'm still not okay with Brax being with the blondie. What's the blondie's name?
Ricky.
God. Who? Ricky Sharp. I'm not okay with that.
Yeah.
Not okay.
No, that never worked. Did it? Never hit the spot. That. Nicole Franklin, dead or alive?
Oh, Franklin. Oh, she's
baby mama of the
she's the daughter of Angelo, wasn't she?
Yes.
Angelo?
She had the baby
She's
that
alive.
Marilyn was going to adopt.
George.
Yes,
Baby George.
she's alive. Nicole moved to the
She's
city
alive.
with Angelo and
Phew.
baby George, but Angelo came back recently and didn't even mention her. Anyway. Rocco Cooper, dead or alive?
Oh, good Lord, Rocco. I have a feeling he's dead, but I don't know that that's
correct. Died from injuries after being beaten. Morag Bellingham. Oh dear.
Oh,
dead or
no.
alive?
See, in the show, she's alive. But in real
correct.
life, Cornelia. Oh, I'm so not over this.
So it feels like she's been around for 84 years, but as far as we know, Morag is alive.
Thank God.
Got two more. Josh West, dead or alive?
Oh, he dead.
He did.
So dead. I remember this. The Josh West stuff I remember like it was yesterday. He was the mayor of Summer Bay.
Yeah. Josh was made mayor of Summer Bay, but was found dead in his office.
He was.
After the controversial Project 56.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God. I just remember laughing at having a mayor of Summer Bay and it being like this 20-year-old
I know he was
guy
dead
with
young.
like
Yeah.
sticky up hair.
I was like 12, like there's hope for us all. Martha Mackenzie's your last one, dead or alive?
Martha Mackenzie, as in the young Martha or the old Martha?
Martha Mackenzie, young Martha.
Young Martha. Young Martha was very much alive.
Yeah, she's alive and rude. After battling cancer, a miscarriage, and the death of her husband Jack, Martha fled the bay with Jack's cousin Hugo.
Oh yeah,
they were arrested.
Who is now a wrong and in Savage River, by the way. But there we go.
Absolutely. Well done. You got everything right.
I don't think I did. I
don't know. No, you got one wrong, yeah.
I got one. I can't remember who it was. Amanda. I thought Amanda was dead. That was it. Amanda.
You just wish she was. Amanda Vale.
Her name? Amanda Vale. I thought she died because I think I wanted her to.